welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show you, the audience, and the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Just remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. You should rejoice and be glad in it. I want to welcome everybody that is watching on TikTok live at this moment as we record the podcast. And also, if you're listening on the podcast on Rumble, Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the show. If you're watching on TikTok, please go follow the channel. It helps me out more than you know. I'm debating on doing a few other things. We might be changing some times around, but we're working forward to benefit you, the audience. And I'm excited to see what we got going on in the future. Haven't been TikTok live in a while. We've been very busy, and I have been doing. I hadn't had the opportunity to do TikTok live, so TikTok live is backing up. We're excited for that, and I got some great stories lined up for you this morning as we go ahead and dive into some of the we're going to talk about some of the solar eclipse. I seen it briefly. I was at work, and we were outside doing some work, mechanic work, and we looked through the windshield of the truck, and we saw the moon passing over. So we looked up a little bit, didn't do it long because we love our eyes, and we don't want our eyes to go dim. But we watched it a little bit, and it was a great phenomenon. Now, with this solar eclipse, there was a lot of doom and glooms. I called it like this: TikTok and Facebook prophets. They have all these people that I'm not trying to be harsh, but there's a sign like this that happened. Now solar eclipse happen every 17 years or so. They happen. It's a normal scientific phenomenon that the Earth will go in front of the moon, or vice versa. This happens a lot, okay? This isn't something that, a solar eclipse happening, that means the end of the world's going to happen. And I watched some of these, how can you say, these TikTok prophets, these Facebook prophets, and they all made these predictions that this was the sign of the end times. And look, the Bible's clear in Matthew 24 and other verses, the signs of the end times. And the Bible does not mention eclipse to my knowledge. Now, they talk about the sun going dark in the book of Revelation, but that's during the time of the tribulation period, which we believe is after the rapture of the church. So all these people coming up with signs, hey, this is the end of this is going to be the end of time and all. No, look, and it came and gone. We're still here. I would know if the rapture happened because I will be caught up in the rapture. Some people say, well, this will be the start of the tribulation period. It was just some wild claims out there. And on Monday, even The View got into this phenomenon of the solar eclipse. Now, we know a couple of days ago, there was a earthquake in New York or New Jersey area. Our good friends at Two Mics Live, they experienced it. My good friend, Dr. Michael Source, got his flight delayed from going on to a trip because of this earthquake. Well, again, The View got a hold of this, all these conspiracy theories and stuff, and they started talking about it. And Sonny Hostin started off. Now, they made a joke about the earthquake blaming Trump, and I know it's a joke. Excuse me. I know it's a joke they were trying to play, and it was a good joke that made me laugh when it was like, oh, well, this happened in this place in New Jersey where it was where Donald Trump had a golf course and all that stuff, and Donald Trump was to blame. But, on the left side, on that note, they always blame Donald Trump for everything. So it would not surprise me they did not blame this on Donald Trump. So, but the co-host on The View stumbled while trying to explain the science behind Monday's total solar eclipse with one co-host messing up pronunciation. Now, I can't say nothing because I mess up pronunciations all the time. And non-related natural events. The View's co-host, Sonny Hostin, started off the science discussion by mispronouncing Cinsta. I guess that's how you call it. Cicada. Prompting co-host Whoopi Goldberg to correct her. Hostin claimed that the total solar eclipse and the arrival of these citas, whatever. Like I said, I can't blame Sonny Holston. I make mistakes too. Would convince people that the reality of climate change. Now listen here. Now look, I'm gonna give props to some people that I never give props to. I'm gonna give props to Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg because she said I learned of these things coming. Holston said she made the word sick adas, and Goldberg corrected her pronunciation. And this is what Holston said. All these things together would maybe lead one to believe that either climate change exists or something is really going on. Again, I'm going to give props to Joy Behar. I never do this. TikTok, you're watching this live. Record this because this is the first time this ever happened. Joy Behar corrected Sonny, and she said it's not the mercy of climate change. It's underground. Listen. And look, you would have to, we talked about this on Brother Just Searching, and if you're interested, you can comment or you can send me a message asking me to discuss this. But I believe in something called the hydroplate theory, where it says the great mountains of the deep broke open in the Bible, and it shifted the earth and made fault lines. This is where the great mountains of the deep broke open, and this is how Noah's flood happened. A lot of people think it was just the rain, but no, the Bible says when the great mountains of the deep broke open, it made fault lines. So those fault lines have been there since the flood. Now, there's some evolutionists that will say, hold on, Isaac, you're not correcting that. Is this and this? You can have you believe we're not discussing creation and evolution right now. If y'all want that debate, I will gladly have it with somebody. Give me time to study, to refresh myself. But these fault lines have been there since, man, in my I think 4,400 years. I'm a 6-day creationist, and I believe the earth is 6,000 years old. Y'all can disagree with me on that. Hey, that's your privileges. So let's go on with this right here. These fault lines have nothing to do. They've been there for years before carbonations ever happened. I guess we could say with cars and all this other stuff. That the climate change people say, oh, this is ruining the planet. So for Joy Behar to go ahead and correct Sonny on this, I'm just like, wow. And look, this is what climate change activists do. They take natural phenomenons like the solar eclipse and try to fit into climate change. I'm going to just remind people too, climate change is a recently new term. Oh, what you mean, Isaac? No, climate change has always been there. No. Global cooling was there at first in the 80s into the 90s. Into the 2000s, the earth started warming up, and people started saying, oh, we're in a global warming. This is how Al Gore got majority of his money. And he was like, oh, by 2012, we're going to be all under sea, and we're still here. And then when the earth started cooling down, as the earth does, it rotates, and it goes into different periods. It changes. These global warming activists said, oh, well, we can't call it global warming. We're freezing. So what did they change it to? Climate change. Well, look, there's a little bit of truth to that statement. The climate is always changing. It changes 4 times a year, ladies and gentlemen. But that now they're making, oh, well, if it's too hot, it's climate change. If it's too close, it's because of climate change. If we have a solar eclipse, it's climate change. Now, Sonny talked about their hairdresser when she saw the earthquake and everything. She ran off. She said it was the rapture of the church. And they were like, well, this is her statement of, well, you got to believe something's going on. Well, like I said, the earth goes through cycles. And look, I believe we're in the last of the last days. I believe Jesus is coming for his children real soon. Me and Brother Bowen from Brother Just Searching just talked about the signs of his coming. But this was taken way out of proportion. Now, this led Goldberg, which I call her Whoopi. She made some claims about religious folks. She went ahead and said that, let me go ahead and read the eclipse. They've known about the eclipse coming because eclipse happened, and they actually can say when those things are going to happen, which is true. Science has gotten it down to where, hey, look, if we see the sun going a certain direction, the moon going a certain direction, we can tell if it's an eclipse or a lunar eclipse or whatever, solar eclipse, whatever. So that's factual. She said that right there. So all those folks who are saying, this is a sign from God, God doesn't give you warnings, okay? Stop. Well, let me continue because the next statement fits into what I'm about to tell you. You think he gave people, the people of Tower of Babel, warning? Oh, I'm about to jack y'all up? No, Goldberg said. Whoopee. Whoopee. Yes, God does give warnings. Nineveh, he gave 40 days warning. He warned Israel multiple times. God gives warning. Now, on the Tower of Babel, they all were not serving God. That's why God said, hey, we're going to go and confuse their language. It's funny how she used that as an example. All them people were not serving God. They were building the tower to get to God. They were trying to reach heaven. They were trying to reach the sun god, some believe, because this is it goes into Nabal and all the it's a lot of things that go in there. I don't have time to really go into it. But yes, whoopee, God gives us warnings. God gives us warnings if we're doing something wrong. So look, Whoopi is not a Bible scholar, and she is not a Christian. So I'm just making that point up right there. Now she did. God does stuff, and then you figure out, oh, that's possibly because and she made like a dying face and said, it's no, but the Psychoms are coming. We have them every 17 years. There are some we get every 20 something odd years, and they just go under and they come back out. And they make the noise and they have, intimacy. I'm not going to say the word on here for audience purposes. But the real reason, and look, there's 2 points why I brought this story out. Is one, because they mock religion, and everything is the climate change. Sonny saying, hey, look, I already addressed it. It's not climate change. And look, like I said, props to Whoopi and props to Joy for saying, look, that's not climate change. That's not climate change. But Sonny Holston wants climate change to be so real that she's going to go ahead and use a natural phenomenon like the solar eclipse to go ahead and try to prove a point. And then Whoopi trying to mock religion. And this is going back to the point earlier what I said about these TikTok and Facebook prophets that are announcing doom and gloom, that are announcing that things are happening and that we need to go ahead and predict the future. Look, the Bible's there. Okay, the Bible is my prediction. I live biblically. But when you go ahead and do stuff like this, you TikTok prophets and your Facebook prophets and YouTube prophets that are saying all this stuff about the solar eclipse, you're going to get criticized by people on the left that are anti-God and anti-Christian, like Whoopi Goldberg. That's going to happen. You're making these predictions and they don't come true. You're going to have people criticize you. And it's wrong. You should not look to the signs. You should just look for the one that's coming. And stop making false predictions. If you notice, I wasn't one going on this, the solar eclipse coming, we're all going to die. I wasn't one of those people. And I'm not going to be them people. Because I make sure that before I say something, I'm correct in it. And that is biblically, that is everything in life I try to do. I try to do that all the time. So, all right, let's move on. So California is putting a minimum wage hike on their citizens. Now, look, I'm gonna say this. All right, everyone needs to live. All right, Louisiana has a minimum wage of $7.25. That's how I started off. I was getting paid $7.25, $8 an hour when I started to work. Now, I'm 31 years old. I started working part-time when I was 13. No, we didn't have I wasn't working in the coal mines like in the 40s and 60s, 40s, 50s and 60s or whatever. But I remember learning how to operate a tractor at the age of 13 years old. And I cut grass. I cut grass for my neighbors and everything. But when I got into the workforce, I started working at $7.25 an hour. And to me, that was money because, hey, I was making some type of money. Well, right now I'm making here in Louisiana I'm making a decent living. Not the best, not the high dollar, but I'm making a living. I'm supporting my family. And I believe that 725 is a start. You should go ahead and want to work your way up to make more money. That is success. But according to California, the minimum wage shouldn't be $7.25 an hour. Now, I believe prior to this, I think it was like $10 to $15 an hour for minimum wage. But California has pushed up their minimum wage up to $20 an hour. Now, ladies and gentlemen, people would say, well, Isaac, what is wrong with that? What's going to hurt the economy? Now, there's some left-leaning people that want minimum wage $20 across the board. They want a national minimum wage at $20 an hour. And there's some states like Louisiana that can't do that. Louisiana, if they get up to $10 an hour, that's pushing it. And I know some state legislators, I could call them and ask them what their opinion on this. There's none of this in the legislation right now. Louisiana has a lot of stuff going on. They're debating constitutional conventions. They're diving into a lot of stuff. But the $20 minimum wage is not one of them. But the some on the left want this at a national level of $20 an hour. And like I said, this would hurt the economy. It wouldn't just hurt the economy. It would hurt people and businesses. Why would it hurt people? Because businesses can't afford this. Now, before you jump on your high horse saying, Isaac, you have no proof. Wait a minute. We got some proof right here. First off, by Todd Stearns. And I got this story, I think, last week. But again, California is about to mandate $20 an hour for workers. Businesses are starting to close. I got two articles. Watch this. This is from Todd Stearns. He is a radio syndicate, national radio syndicate host, and he has his own news website. And he wrote this. Garrett Woodmire wrote this for him in his article. California ice cream parlor forced to close due to $20 minimum wage increase. Marco Navarro, a former assistant general manager at Foster's Freeze in Lomar, shared her dismay on the impact of California's new enacted $20 minimum wage on small businesses during a recent interview on Bottom Line hosted by Fox News. This person expressed her shock at a certain closure of Foster's Freeze, leaving employees blindsided without any prior notice. It would have been nice to have a notice so we could go get some applications out. I could prepare them, she went ahead and said. The closure decision came abruptly by Easter Monday morning, catching the employees and her team off guard. Laura Wright, the owner, cited the unable to absorb the wages hike as a primary reason behind the closures, emphasizing the urgency to avoid disrupting Easter Sunday. So because California put up a new law saying you have to pay $20 an hour, you have to go ahead and they have to close their store. They have to go ahead and close this ice cream parlor in California. Now, hold on. Before we continue, I want to talk about another business that is closing in California. Pizza chain close California location before minimum wages law takes effect. Mood Pizza, which has 500 locations nationwide, closed 5 shops in the state at the end of March, according to a local Fox affiliate, KMPH. All because the left feels that you're entitled to get top dollar for your work. Now California businesses are closing. And this is what they want to do in America. They want a $20 minimum wage hike throughout all the country. First it was $15, now they amped it up to $20 an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not stabilizing for the economy. The economy is in a bad state now. Imagine if this would get through the Senate and the House and President Biden would sign it. Businesses would have to close, or they would have to, like I said, the business would have to close, or they have to cut half their staff, which hurts the business, which means the business would evidently close. But do you think the left is worried about that? No, they're not worried about that. They just want to make sure you get your fair share. And look, going back to my personal testimony of working in the work field, I wasn't making what I'm making now when I first got in. I worked for 2 retail stores when I first started. And that was the drive for me. I don't want to make this all my life. So I'm going to look for something bigger and better. I worked in a machine shop. I'm a dump truck driver right now. I got my CDL. That pushed me to advance my license. I worked in not a Coca-Cola plant, a Pepsi plant here in Louisiana. They said, look, if you get your CDL, you make more money. I went ahead and didn't wait for them. I spent my hard money and went get my CDL. And it has opened tons of opportunities for me. One day I dream of maybe owning a business. This is the driving factor for me. I don't want to stay where I am. And people, this is what I feel California's doing. I could be wrong. But California is trying to keep people at the bottom. And look, the left is good for this. They we want you to have bigger, better, but they always pushing policy to keep you in the bottom. And look, I've worked in retail, and there's no look. I don't criticize people that are in retail. I was in retail, but most of those people that go into retail shops or retail stores and work, they don't stay there. There's not that many opportunities. Only a select few get to move up in the management positions. I know. I fought it. I wanted to move up, and every time I tried to move up, it was always an excuse, and there was somebody else that was less qualified to move up because there's some people that, hey, we like this one more than that one. That's how life is. And this is what the left doing. Well, we're gonna pay you to stay at the bottom. This minimum wage is not smart. And look, Gavin Newsom is already in a lot of hot water in California. Yeah, he did survive a recount. I don't know how he did, but he survived the recount. But to pass this $20 minimum wage, we're already starting to see the effects in California. I just mentioned 2 businesses. How many other businesses that were not mentioned in the news that are closing down because they can't afford the employees? And because they can't afford the employees, they have to close down their shops. With that being said, hey, that's less taxes. Also, these owners that own these places, if they're not multimillionaires, they got to go find them a job now, which means they're out of work. And they're putting pressure on somebody else. And also this leads, and just thinking about it, this will lead to like a lot of businesses are doing here in Louisiana, putting automated screens up for you to order your food. I went into a Taco Bell the other day to get lunch, and I had cash. Okay, I knew the computers were there, and I had cash. I was going to use cash, and I asked them. I said, "Look, can I use cash for this?" They said, "Yes. Go order it, then come pay us." I'm like, "Go order it and go pay y'all. Why can't I just order it here?" "We cannot do this on this counter no more. You have to order from the screen over there." Now, look, it's convenient. Okay, you don't have to pay a cashier, only to collect the cash. What's going to happen when you do like Walmart self-checkout and you can pay cash? And we're getting to a point where McDonald's is doing this. They have a store, and I think it's in California, I'm not sure, where a machine makes your burger. A machine gives you your order. There's no employees that work there. You order it on a screen. It goes to the computer, and the computer makes your order. Now, people might say, "Well, Isaac, that's dangerous." Yes, but they have to do something else besides the $20 an hour. Think about it. It's better to pay one big fee for a machine to do everything for you instead of paying $20 an hour for a young person to sit down in the corner and play their phone and mess up on your burger. You know how many times we went to fast food restaurants and we had to turn around and tell them, "Hey, you messed up on our burger"? Maybe because somebody was texting or something. I don't know. But this is not helping the country. This is not helping the state of California. I promise you. All right, moving on to the next comment. We, again, TikTok Live. Thank you. If you like the show, follow the show on TikTok. Also, like it on all the podcast platforms and YouTube and Rumble. So Biden is accused of shredding the Constitution with new student loan bailouts, a stunning act of contempt. This is from Fox News. And President Joe Biden, and we know why he's doing this. He is running around the country saying he's going to slash student loan debt once again, going to hurt our country, and basically tell people, hey, you're entitled to free college. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett reacted on Fox and Friends to President Biden's plan to push sweeping student loan bailouts on the campaign trail. Jarrett said Biden's new plan for student forgiveness are still unconstitutional and will transfer billions of dollars to taxpayers. Now, what is he talking about right here that it is unconstitutional? Well, if you remember, President Joe Biden tried to pass some type of student loan debt the other day. Well, I say the other day, a few months back. And it was, somebody sued him. It went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, look, Congress is the only one that can forgive student loan debt. And there's a whole process to do that because Congress is in charge of the purse. The Constitution is clear that Congress is in control of the money situation here in the United States. Now, President Joe Biden, instead of listening to the Supreme Court, who interpreted the Constitution correctly, is saying, no, I'm going to double down and I'm going to go ahead and give these student loan debts. Now, the reason he's doing this, ladies and gentlemen, is the same reason why he is essentially backing Hamas and asking Israel to do a ceasefire is because of votes. Joe Biden in the polls right now, and look, I tell you this, I'm not into polls. I don't believe polls no more. Since after 2022, I wait until the day of election to tell you, hey, how I think. I vote this certain way. Let's see what the other people of America think. And if more people think like me, well, guess what? We're going to have a different president in 2024. But until then, I'll quote polls to try to give you, maybe think, hey, this is might how. I don't put my faith in polls. Let's just say it like that. But President Joe Biden, according to a lot of polls, are losing in a lot of swing states. The border is one of the issues. The Israel conflict is another. So for him to try to get votes, now he's losing. For him to try to get votes, he has to push this student loan forgiveness thing just to get votes. That's all he's doing. He's not doing this to better you, the American citizen, because if this happens, America will lose billions of dollars. Now, we're already in over our head in debt. We're about to hit $35 trillion. Every so often I come and talk about the loans, the debt of America, and guess what? It always goes up. It never goes down. Now, he tries to say, well, I'm pushing this policy that's going to save us $1 trillion in America. Where? The debt's still going up. But this is why he's pushing this student loan debt. Now, people are saying he's shredding up the Constitution because he's not listening to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just issued on this that he cannot forgive student loan debt, but President Joe Biden is going to push it anyway. But, ladies and gentlemen, the reason he's doing this was good for you is not good for me. See, we got to obey laws. We got to obey the Constitution. We have to listen to the authorities that are set above us as peasants of this United States of America. This is Joe Biden's thinking. But he don't have to listen to this. But just not him, also his family. What do I mean by that? The Daily Wire reported Hunter Biden's attorney met with White House days before he defied congressional subpoena. That's reports. Lawyers went meet with Jill Biden's top aide, and they discussed how Hunter Biden could miss out on a congressional hearing. I still don't understand why the Republicans didn't push contempt of Congress on Hunter Biden. They let him come, and when he remember, this whole thing was, I want to have an open hair. I want to have with the mics. I want to have with the cameras. And they said, no, you're going to come sit with us privately. Then you can have this open hearing. And when they invited him for an open hearing, he told them no. The closed door deposition was horrible for Hunter Biden. But he went to the Hunter Biden's attorneys went to the White House. This is from the Daily Wire. Even gets to a point where a Biden appointed judge torched the DOJ for blowing off Hunter Biden's related subpoenas from the House committee. She asks, are you kidding me? An appointed judge by Joe Biden said that this was wrong. But what's good for D is not good for me. This is how the Bidens thinks. The Bidens think they can get away with stuff. They don't have to follow the rule of law. I've already said the Democrat Party is a lawless party. They do not honor law. If they don't like a law, they try changing it to where what was outlaw is law now, and it makes it legal. They've done this with a lot of things. But President Biden apparently thinks he don't have to listen to the Supreme Court and he don't have to follow the Constitution. Hunter Biden don't think that he should be in front of Congress. And this is trickling down to the administration. Now, there's some issues going on with the DOJ where Congress and House Republicans are asking Merrick Garland to give the audio of Biden's deposition to Robert Hur, the special counsel, and Garland saying no. This is from the Daily Wire. Garland risks contempt of Congress as DOJ spins House GOP demands for Biden audio. They gave him the transcripts and they say that's enough. And the House Republicans are asking, hey, we want the audio. We want to hear it for ourselves because they believe they redacted some things. And Merrick Garland is giving the double bird finger to the to Congress and telling them y'all can pound sand. They gave him until, today's the 9th, I think. No, the 10th. They gave him until Monday. We haven't heard anything if he gave the documents. But Merrick Garland, the Attorney General for President Joe Biden, is refusing to give evidence to Congress for the investigation of the impeachment of Joe Biden. What's good for me is not good for thee. This is the philosophy that the Bidens and the administration right now is living by. Because going back to the judge, I was reading this earlier, the judge quoted Peter Navarro, who went to jail for not going in front of the January 6th committee. But Hunter Biden gets a pass. And Hunter Biden don't go to jail. Hunter Biden don't get contempt of Congress. I don't understand why the Republicans don't know how to play hardball. They don't. Because I would have said, well, look, you had your chance. You're not coming. We're going to put contempt of Congress on you. But they didn't. They let Hunter Biden come. But the judge said, look, y'all put somebody in jail for not going in front of Congress. Now y'all encouraging others, because more than just Hunter Biden, they're encouraging not to go in front of Congress. There's multiple people that are getting subpoenaed to go in front of Congress, and they're telling Congress no. But what's good for you is not good for me. This is how the Democrats live. The Democrats can quote, as we said earlier, about climate change and how you should get rid of your car and you should get rid of your washing machine. You should get rid of your hot water tank. You should get rid of all these things that make your life easy. And when you ask them, well, what about you? Will you get rid of your big Suburban that burns gas at 8 miles a gallon? Will you get rid of your plane that burns trillions of gallons a year? Will you get rid of your hot water tank? Will you get rid of your stove? You know what they tell you? No. Why? Because our life got to be easy, because we got to tell y'all what to do. This is the Democrat Party. And look, let me get a subpoena to Congress and I don't show up. And I might have legitimate reasons. Look, I don't have the money for the plane ticket. I don't have the gas to get up there. I promise you the next day I'm going to jail. Look, used for a prime example, I have a subpoena right now to go in front of court in a couple of weeks for an issue that happened a couple of months ago. If I don't show up, I bet I get the sheriff's department knocking on my door. Why didn't you come to court? But the Bidens, hey, we're going to give student loan debt. Congress said, the Supreme Court said, you can't do that, Mr. President. It's in the Constitution. I'm going to do it anyway. Hunter Biden, you got to come in front of Congress. Well, I'm not going to go. I'm mad because y'all talk about my daddy. You have a judge saying, hey, you're supposed to go. And then you have Merrick Garland saying, hey, well, you have Congress telling Merrick Garland, hey, we want certain documents and we want audio. And you know what they tell them? Hey, pound sand. Now imagine if these roles were reversed. MSNBC, CBS, and all of them will be criticizing Republicans for not obeying the rule of law. We have a tutorial justice system and we have a tutorial media system here. And it makes me sick. It takes a Cajun from South Louisiana with a podcast to tell you what's going on. Now, there's others. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot bigger names out there that are telling you what's happening. But ladies and gentlemen, this is sick. We need a change in this country, and we need to change it in 2024. And even that, I'm praying it changes. Because President Trump, you know, I disagree with President Trump on abortion. And he made this stance last Monday. We made a whole episode, me and my brother, in this studio talking about it. Real change won't come until people accept God. I'm going to leave that that's the bottom line. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. I want to thank everyone that has watched on TikTok, that is listening on the podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify. I say Google. Google's not there no more. Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, and Spotify. Also thank everyone that watches on Rumble and YouTube. I'm excited to be here every day. Well, try to be here every day or every other day to speak with you on matters concerning this nation. Please remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. Go check out our affiliate marketers on our podcast, Give-A-Derm and HairClub. HairClub is a hair loss prevention company, great company, American company. My good friend works there, and he set us up with his affiliate market. You can go ahead and get in contact with one of their consultants. They help you out. Use the promo code BJSmedia10. Also, Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is an all-natural skincare product out of Tennessee, Louisiana. Oh, my goodness. Tennessee, USA. Great company out there. Great people that run it. Conservative people. You can go ahead and get 10% off the price of all the products that you buy today if you go into the description and use the promo code BJSmedia10. If you're watching on TikTok, go look at my bio and go ahead and look up one of the episodes, and it would be there. With that being said, it's going to wrap it up. You have a good one. Be blessed. Be encouraged. You be blessed. We will see you next time.